Hi, Nigel. So I tuned in, but I thought you were quite tetchy actually under scrutiny, which is so, well, it's just so like you. It's just that you're rarely put under scrutiny. You'd got really arsey when Laura said it was your girlfriend that had bought the house in Clacton. You said, what does it matter? Well, it matters a lot, actually, Nigel, because if it's your house and your girlfriend bought it for you, then you didn't pay the correct stamp duty because you've already got lots of houses. But now you seem to be saying that it's her house and sometimes you go there. Which brings up the question, why do you only sometimes go to the house in Clacton, which is your constituency? And there was that time on the LBC when you went, is this enough for you? I'm buying a house there. But you weren't. It was your girlfriend. But your girlfriend is quite interesting, isn't she, Nigel? This was when the story first broke because you were married and suddenly Laura Ferrari turned up putting the bins outside your house. But you said then the suggestions of you and her having an affair were crackers. But you two go way back. Like, I hadn't realised that your partner was in politics too. She once stood in the EU elections for a far-right nationalist party. Imagine, I can't think what you have to talk about. And now as some sort of pan-European populist alliance with Steve Bannon, of all people. But politically, you two have quite a checkered history too, and I hadn't clocked it. She was in charge of the IDDE and was accused of diverting funds to UKIP. And the findings of the investigation are a little bit nuanced, aren't they? Because whilst the IDDE had to pay back all the money and weren't allowed any other funds from the EU, UKIP seemed to get off quite free. Anyway, sorry, I've digressed. I guess the fact of the matter is, Nigel, you kept saying you'd bought a home, and that's why it's important. And the tax dodging element, of course. And you were challenged on your idea that we are now North Korea. And I thought I'd explore that a little bit as well, because I thought this was really interesting. Just so we're all on the same page, I'll read out what it says up there because it's a bit small. Because the UK is a pluralist democracy with free elections, opposition parties, independent judiciary, and a free press. Great, yeah? North Korea, which you said we're like, is a totalitarian one-party dictatorship where power is hereditary, dissent is crushed, and citizens have no meaningful political rights. So I was thinking, gosh, that sounds a little bit familiar. So you were specifically talking about the Graham Linehan thing. But in the UK, arrests have to follow due process. You can't just take somebody off the street and lock them away. But just this week, you were in Washington saying that Trump had the right idea going for mass deportations without due process. And in fact, that seems to be what you're talking about in this country as well, should you ever be PM. And in the UK, we've got strong protection for freedom of speech, even the right to protest, whereas in North Korea, there's no freedom of expression, there's no freedom of media, and they brutally punish dissent. Those alarm bells started to sound, Nigel, because you and Reform have started to restrict freedom of speech within the British press. In fact, anybody that disagrees with you, you have a big issue with. Even threatening journalists. When challenged about your rhetoric, you said that people only focus on the extremists. Except that it's the extremists have hijacked the Operation Raise the Flags. That would be the same operation that you were endorsing on Laura's programme. My favourite though, right, is that guy right at the end. He was actually done for people smuggling himself. You couldn't make it up. Oh, I mean, you do, Nigel, but really. However, you did admit that you have no experience in government, and that apparently is why you chose Nadine. You allowed Nadine Dorries to join Reform because she has the government experience that you guys need. That'll be the same Nadine Dorries that was infamously not up on her brief. The same one who said in an interview that she'd be more upset if Boris Johnson kicked a dog than if he'd misled Parliament. The same one that told us all to calm down about Partygate because none of it had really happened. And the same Nadine, a warning to you here, Nigel, that threw her colleagues under the bus when they did something against Boris. And you've literally this morning said you wouldn't accept Boris into Reform. Squeaky bum time. Anyway, I just thought I'd flesh out a bit of that interview because Laura always seems to forget to do so. Good chat, as you were.